Alright, so some of you guys have wanted me to show you how to use these stones to strop the knives, to maintain the knives. It's pretty basic, real simple stuff. I have the first Scudo I ever made, and it's matching utility. These were actually gifts to my father for Father's Day. But basically this is how you'll get the stone. It's nice and flat. Both sides are usable. They're both flattened, rounded corners. You know, I put actually a good bit of work into making them usable. They're not usable as I get them by any stretch. But this is pretty much it. Spray some water on it. Doesn't have to be a ton. I mean, you don't have to have it soaked. They're not soaking stones. They're splash and go. Get it wet. Take the knife. Now let me see if I can do this in this little film area here. But you'll take and you'll set it on the heel, and on a gyro sized knife, roughly 50 millimeters, you'll want to be a little higher than the center of your thumb, and then you'll just maintain that angle and lift just as you hit the corner, and that's it. If the knife's really dull, use some pressure. Oops, you'll hear the pressure I'm putting on there. You can hear the sound of the blade. Okay, and then as the knife comes into getting sharper, and you'll feel a burr on this side as it's, you know, if it's really dull and you're using pressure, you'll feel that burr. Then you'll take and as it starts to get sharper, hear the difference in sound. I'm using almost no pressure. And again, you want to keep this finger supporting, and you want to lift as you come around the curve. You want to lift the heel up and backwards, because you always want to keep the draw perpendicular to the line of the edge. So as I'm coming around, I'm curving it and lifting it so it gets to the tip. And you'll do that equally on both sides. So I mean, if you're using pressure, I'm going to hit the camera stand here. You'll do 5 strokes on one side, 5 strokes on the other side. Keep it equal and keep the pressure the same. As you feel that edge start to come in and get sharper, lighten up. 5 strokes, 5 strokes, 5 strokes, 5 strokes until you feel the burr, and then you'll start lightening, and you'll do 5 strokes at a lighter pressure and then switch, and 5 strokes at a lighter pressure and switch. And I do 5s because these stones sharpen these knives. And again, these are 64, 65 Rockwell. They're hard. But the edge bevels on my knives are so thin that, you know, that's the glare in there, you can see. But the edge bevels on the knives are so thin that it doesn't take much to sharpen them at all. So you'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this isn't a traditional sharpening technique, which is more of a scrubbing motion. You don't need to do that to maintain the knife. Just strop. Every day you use it, 2-3 passes like this. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Test the edge. This thing's scary sharp, and that's all you got to do. Every time you use the knife, spritz some water on there. Keep it next to your sink or on the fridge or whatever. Spritz some water on it. Run the knife over 2-3 times, and you're good to go. That will keep that edge scary sharp for a very long time. But what I was saying, if you do allow it to get dull, I'll get back to that. You'll do the 5 on one side, and then you'll do 5 harder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Note the position of my thumb on the blade. See that? A little over halfway, and that maintains your edge angle. If you always do a little more than halfway, and it doesn't matter if your thumb is bigger than mine or smaller than mine, you're always wanting to maintain the same angle. So even if you start out at a little bit different angle, the knife will work itself into that angle, and the edge is thin enough. You could literally sharpen this knife at a 45-degree angle, and it would cut just as well, because there is nothing behind the edge on this blade. That tiny little bevel is not enough of a angle change to make a difference. So that's pretty much it. Again, light strokes. if the knife's sharp and you're just maintaining it, light strokes, 3, 4, 5 passes on each side, put the knife away. If the knife is dull, if you've let it sit for a long time or you used it a lot and didn't sharpen it, you'll have to use more pressure, maybe 5 strokes per side. You'll feel it start to get a little sharper and then lighten up. And really all you need is feather light strokes to maintain that edge. So for those of you with shorter knives, and I actually had this handle off, so it's kind of loose in there. But for those of you with shorter knives, you'll want to split your thumb right down the middle or even a little lower. You're going to have to decide that. But generally you won't go above splitting the thumb, and you do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's harder on this side because the camera stands right there. 3, 4. And I always forget to turn my notification volume off. So anyway, but you can see how sharp this is. I mean, it's literally taking calluses off my skin. It's sharp. It's freaking sharp. So again, that's it. It's that simple. No problems. Light strokes if you're stropping. If you need to maintain it, a little bit sharper strokes, and you're good to go. Hope that helps.